Hello everyone, and today we're back into another top 5. And today we're going to be talking about the top 5 offensive Loomians in all of Loomian Legacy. These Loomians hit extremely hard, can set up really easily, and have abilities that can increase their damage. So, with that out of the way, let's head right onto this list. Number 5 on this list is actually going to be Pyroline. Everyone knows how well Pyroline can be used defensively, but offensively, Pyroline can be used just as well, if not even better. I mean, it has Pyroline coverage, and Pyroline coverage can pretty much hit anything in the entire game, which is amazing. Not to mention, this is a Loomian with 133 range attack, with the Volcanic ability, and Flame Shell can pretty much nuke anything with neutral damage, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, Pyroline, the fact that it actually one-shots a Flame Pearl Himber says a lot. Like, keep in mind, Himber has very good bulk, and with Flame Pearl makes it so it's a neutral hit instead of a super effective hit. And even though with Volcanic you have to refresh for your next turn, the fact that you can potentially one-shot the Loomian on the field just makes Pyroline extremely threatening. Yes, there are other Loomians that can hit extremely hard, like Specialization Loomians, but the thing that makes Volcanic so dangerous is the fact that it also, Pyroline has Rejuvenate, Peace of Mind, and also Ancient and Brawler coverage on top of that, and not just one move, which makes Pyroline really amazing offensively. Even with the Fanny Flame ability, it can get a +1 and then a +3 with the Rateful Plushie, and that's why Volcanic Pyroline is number 5 on the list. Number 4 onto the list is actually going to be Snaggoop. And we're talking about Buck Up Snaggoop. This thing is actually really amazing. I never expected to put this on a top 5 offensive Loomians list, but it deserves to be. How it performed in this recent showcase video is absolutely amazing. I mean, it got 3 sweeps in the showcase video, and I'm just showcasing you the best one. I literally just bring it in, get a buck up, and then sweep this person's entire team. Buck Up Snaggoop is absolutely amazing. And the fact that you have Airblade to guarantee 100% crits just adds icing on top of the cake. It also has Provoke, so you can provoke setup Loomians and buck up Loomians. Like, it's really good for... It's a very good lead in the fact that you can also get critical hits, and Poison Air offense is also very good. So, yep, that's why Snaggoop is on the list. I mean, it hits extremely hard, can sweep opposing teams really easily, and has a good enough defensive typing that it's pretty easy to actually get the buck off. So, that's why Snaggoop is in the top 5, but it's not quite in the top 3, unfortunately. Number 3 onto this list is actually going to be Helvantic. Yes, Helvantic is always one of the most threatening Loomians in the game. Every time I see a Helvantic, I am always screwed, because this thing has amazing coverage, hits extremely hard, has a great speed stat, and with the aggressive ability makes it so it can actually snowball extra damage. This is one of the best late game sweepers in the entire game. And if you have barbs, oh my gosh, this thing can absolutely sweep your team. The only Loomians I have in my mind that can possibly potentially counter it is Tyrex and Himber. And even then, if you can deal enough damage to them, you'll eventually break through them. Helvantic is absolutely amazing. I mean, it probably has the best coverage in the entire game, probably besides Deludrix. And while Deludrix does have pivot, Helvantic hits harder, and that's why I put Helvantic on the list over Deludrix. And yeah, Helvantic also has extremely good bulk, because it has an extremely high health stat of 123. You could also run bulk up, you could run a defensive version, but offensively, Helvantic is one of the best Loomians in the entire game. I mean, it just barely missed my top 15 PvP Loomians. It probably should have been added on the list, but it's definitely in the top 3 today. Number 2 onto this list is actually going to be Ikazune. I needed to talk about Ikazune again, and this thing is one of the best offensive pivot Loomians in the entire game. It has Flash and Flee and Zip Zap while having Fire Breath that super effectively hit those plant types. It also has 139 range attack, which is the second highest range attack in the entire game. Ikazune is fantastic. You can even run a Magnified Jolt set, and it can be Mutagon the second. But even better, the fact that it can hit Magnify, Jolt, and also run a Pivot Ikazune means you don't know which Ikazune people are going to run. People are either going to run the Boots version or the Magnify version, and both Ikazunes are extremely threatening. Not to mention that with its speed buff recently, putting it at 94 speed instead of 74, makes the Magnify Ikazune a lot more dangerous. This thing is fantastic. The fact that plant types can't effectively swap in against you because of that threat of Fire Breath makes Ikazune one of the best offensive pivot users in the game by a long shot. And while there are other Baffle users that can be very good, I don't think any pivot users can be used as effectively offensively as Ikazune, and that's why it's number 2 on the list. Honorable mentions on this list, and honorable mention number 1 is Mutagon. It's an honorable mention because it's an Uber, but everyone knows why it's an honorable mention. Brawn Boost, Quick Punch, you win. Brawn Boost, Quick Punch, you win. And while I heard that Heavy Fist is going to make it so Quick Punch doesn't have priority anymore, it hasn't happened yet. So, it's still extremely OP. And Mutagon is honorable mention number 1. Honorable mention number 2 is Ace Wrestling, and it makes sense. I mean, Ace increases your stab from 25% to 100%. And this also has Buck Up. This thing hits harder than Snaggoop, but the reason why it's not over Buck Up Snaggoop is because it's way slower, so it's harder to actually get the Buck Up off and getting the sweep at the same time, while with Snaggoop it's a lot faster. But Buck Up Wrestling still deserves an honorable mention. The best offensive Loomian in the entire game is Barbadger. I don't think there are too many shockers here. Barbadger is simply fantastic. It has one flaw, its defensive typing. And its ability makes that defensive typing a strength. Because if the opposing Loomian has a move that's super effective against you, you get a +1. Yes. Combine that with a 120 power stab move, and also Brawn Boost at the same time, this thing hits extremely hard. Even better, it has Ice and Earth. And Ice and Earth can hit anything in the entire game. Not to mention that Clay Slap can also lower the opposing Loomian's speed. Barbadger is fantastic. I don't think there's any better offensive Loomian than the entire game other than Barbadger. And while its speed stat is questionable at times, it does the job. You can even run specialty boots and utilize it well as well. And while Rogue Assault does also reduce your defenses, it doesn't matter when you're one-shotting the opposing Loomians. Barbadger is that good. It's definitely the best offensive Loomian in the entire game, despite not having the highest melee attack. But it's still good enough for Barbadger to be number 1 on the list. And here it is, Barbadger, the best offensive Loomian in the entire game. I hope you guys enjoyed this top 5. If you haven't or have, tell me in the comments below. If there are some offensive Loomians that I have missed, also tell me in the comments below. This will be the end of the video, and I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye!